Angle of depression and angle of elevation tutorial. Here is some extra vocabulary. Angle of elevation is the angle between the line of sight and the horizontal when an observer looks upward. The angle of depression is when the angle between the line of sight and the horizontal when an observer looks downward. Some information you need to know. To find the angle of elevation and depression, you need to be able to use trigonometry. This means using sine, cosine, and tangent, and the acronym SOHCAHTOA. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Also remember that when parallel lines are present, alternate interior angles are congruent. Sine. Sine is used in a triangle when you know the opposite side of the angle and the triangle's hypotenuse. By knowing these measures, you can plug sine into a calculator. So, sine angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine. Cosine is used in a triangle when you know the measure adjacent to the angle and the hypotenuse of the triangle. By knowing these measures, you can plug cosine into a calculator. Cos angle equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent. Tangent is used when you know the measure opposite to the angle and the measure adjacent the angle in the triangle. By knowing these measures, you can plug tangent into a calculator. TOA. Tangent angle equals opposite over adjacent. An example. Angle of depression. You are at the Lenape football game and the stands are very crowded, so you sit at the top seat. These bleachers are 40 feet tall. The angle of depression from your horizontal eye line at the top of the bleachers to the football game on the field is 57 degrees. How far from the field are you? The first step. Because your eye line and the ground form parallel lines, you know that angle A also equals 57 degrees. Parallel lines imply alternate interior angles are congruent. This means that you know the side opposite angle A is 40 and the measure adjacent to the angle is x. Knowing the opposite and adjacent figures means using tangent, TOA, for your equation. Step 2. Plug these figures into the equation of tangent. Tan angle, opposite over adjacent. 40 feet, which is the opposite angle, A equals 57. Now your equation should be tan 57 equals 40 over x. But this cannot be plugged into a calculator. You have to get x on one side of the equal sign.
Step 3. Multiply x on both sides. X cancels out and 40 is by itself on one side of the equal sign. On the other, it is x tan 57. Divide the left side of equal sign by tan 57 and divide the right side also by tan 57. The tan 57 on the left side of the equal sign has been canceled out. Step 4. Plug this into a calculator. X equals 40 over tan 57. The answer should be 25.976 feet away from the football field.
Example number 2. Angle of elevation. You are looking up at a flag on top of a flagpole 56 feet away from where you are standing. The angle of elevation from you to the flag at the top is 38 degrees. How tall is the flagpole? Step 1. From the information given, you know a figure for the side opposite the angle, angle A, and you know a figure for the side adjacent to the angle, A. This means you use tangent to find x. TOA. Step number 2. Plug the figures of tangent. Tan, in parentheses, times angle equals opposite over adjacent. Now your equation should be tan times 38 equals x over 56. But this cannot be plugged into a calculator. You have to get x by itself on one side of the equal sign. Step 3. Multiply both sides by 56. This cancels the 56 on the right side of the equal sign, leaving x by itself. Plug this equation into the calculator to get an answer.
You should get the answer of 43.751 feet tall.